Hey guys, it's your boy, Ballface8020, back again with another great commentary. So yeah, like a few months ago maybe, I don't remember exactly, I saw that new poster had a video about hair loss, and I didn't bother to watch it because it's just not, hair loss just isn't something that it's just not a subject I'm interested in. But it's Saturday night, and I'm just bored, and then I was thinking, hey, maybe I should watch that new poster video because I like most of his stuff. And I mean, I like pretty much all of his stuff, but that's all. His other stuff's all about stuff I'm interested in. And like this, but I was like, even I don't care about hair loss, but whatever, I'll watch it anyway. And the video is really well made, but I gotta say that, and I probably shouldn't be, that I was kind of surprised by his perspective on the stuff, and I feel like there were like some inconsistencies with what he said. Now, I don't know, I'm assuming most of my viewers are pretty young, and so most of you don't, like, hair loss isn't really a thing that you're thinking about. I mean, I have heard people mention it before, even younger people, like, because obviously, there's people who start going bald in high school. But probably some people who start even earlier than that. But like, so anyway, though, like, but it's something that I've always just I've been sort of dismissive of it. And, now, sorry, I probably should have taken some notes so I can apply to it one thing at a time, because I have a lot of different thoughts jumping around. So the thing is, hair, you can see from my videos, I've got experience with hair loss, and, like, I'm Norwooding pretty badly. And, sorry, I just ate 6 Chipwich, 6 of those Chipwich things, and drank an entire, like not a liter, a 20-ounce pineapple soda. So and ate 2 gigantic soft pretzels. So my acid reflux is pretty bad right now. But anyway, so anyway, you see I'm Norwooding, right? Now, I want to say that, or admit, that when it first started, it was, like, I mean, traumatic seems kind of like an exaggeration, but it was sort of there. Because it's something that always, like, yeah, you can go bald, you can lose your hair, whatever, so it happens and stuff. But like new poster says in this video, you kind of just like assume it's never going to happen to you. Like, even if you don't assume that, like, you may not intellectually assume it, but you always feel that way. And especially like in my family, the men don't lose their hair. So, like me, obviously, also, I'm not a very masculine guy, and hair loss tends to be more for like more masculine type guys. And, although if I think about it, I should have seen it coming, because my hair started thinning really young. Like, I mean, so like, certainly, like, my hair was getting thinner by the time I was in, certainly by the time I was in 8th grade. I think earlier than that. I think my hair started noticeably thinning sometime in 7th grade. It was kind of thin even then too. But no, so for me, it was, like, traumatic, just kind of like, wow, like, holy shit, like, it just sort of like, as like, a sign of getting older and stuff, and it just like feels like, oh, it's really happening. However, I adjusted to it mentally pretty quick. I stopped thinking about it. And, now for me, granted, I've got an advantage here, is because I don't really look any worse. I don't look any worse with like the thinning hair than I like, or with the like the Norwood in me. You could like restore my hair; it's not going to make me any more attractive. All right, and the first person I ever heard talk extensively about this was CBP, and he was actually saying in sympathy for some ex-Chad guy, like some ex-Chad who had lost his hair, and I don't know if he had become an incel or anything, but he wasn't Chad anymore, and CBP was saying how he felt for him, and listening to that story, I certainly didn't feel for him. I mean, now I do, but like when I was listening to it, I was like, tough shit, man. That's at least you had a prime, and but I think it's like, it's obviously a lot different. You know, if you're somebody who like goes from people like, I mean, it's two things. One is like you're going from like just being somebody who just you look in the mirror and really like what you see, to seeing in the mirror and being like, ugh, you know, like or like that's going to be a huge transition. And but I think even bigger than that is if you're somebody like who had your entire life, you had the Chad life, the Chad experience, and then overnight you're getting treated like a normal guy now, just because you're the same, but the only difference is that you lost your hair. Now I had been very dismissive that could happen, because I was always thinking like, well, women don't really give a shit, right? I mean, you're still tall, right? You're still tall, you're still broad, you still have the same face. Women don't care about your hair. But I'm seeing a lot of people say that it really does affect, you know, how women view them. And I have heard women say that they like really value hair and stuff. And if you look at most of the guys who women really go crazy over, they do often have, you know, good or like great hair even. Um, Women do seem to be suckers for like long, high quality hair. I mean, they really love it. Like you know, like I know like not every girl loves him, but a lot of girls really like that Jon Snow character on Game of Thrones. Would any girls have liked him at all if it wasn't for the long, thick black hair? I mean, probably not. Would any girls like Adam Driver if not for the long, thick black hair? I don't think so. Even as tall as he is. So I could see. I mean, it's something that I probably had, I think I definitely underestimated it, how important it is. The other thing is that, you know, some people like me, I don't have a good head shape for it. But again, I didn't have a good head shape even, you know, when I still had my hair. So it's kind of like, you know, whatever. But some people bald in a much better way. Like Jason Statham did look better after he lost his hair. So sometimes it works. Now, granted, that's not going to be most people. That's not going to be most guys, but it does happen. And so yeah, but anyway, so this kind of though. So anyway, what the new poster is saying is that I guess he's Chad and he hasn't lost his hair yet, but he feels like it's coming. But then he said something that like is like a real conflation of two things. He says, my nightmare is being on a college campus and being confused with somebody's dad. So I'm assuming that he means like he goes on a college campus to pick up a girl or something. I like why I'm not really totally understanding his story here. Like, why would you even be on a college campus unless you were somebody's dad? He said like, well, where women start just seeing me non-sexual. It's like, okay. First of all, you mean young women? Because women your own age are going to get more into you as you get older. So I don't even know what he's talking about there. And or do you just mean that you don't really see women your age that way, and you're worried that young women are going to start seeing you how you see women your own age? Like that I could understand. If that's your fear, I could understand. But if you think that you're just not going to be desirable to women, that's not going to happen. Okay, like, you know, women don't really like younger guys. They want guys their own age or maybe a tiny bit older. So I don't think that that's really something to worry about, depending on what he meant. Then the other is that he's like, I don't even from a thing of like, you know, you're worried about young women seeing you as undesirable. What does that have to do with hair? Because CBP made this video and I thought it was a really good point. And he said, I don't know if it's still up. He said like, yeah, I'm starting to lose my hair and I'm not upset about it. And I know people are going to say it's cope, but it's not. The reason I'm not upset about it is because of the age pill. Like, it doesn't fucking matter if I keep, you know, like the hair of a 20-year-old for the rest of my life. You know, I can't do anything about everything else. You know, it's I'm still gonna, you know, the age pill is still there regardless of hair quality, and that's kind of always how I felt. So I don't think there's any like, you know, like they're two totally separate things. Like, keeping your hair is not gonna extend how long you're gonna be attractive to young women. You know, it's not gonna. I mean, you're still you're still gonna get old in that sense. So there's nothing you can do about that. The on that front. So I mean, you know, like I don't see what the hair thing has to do with it. And then I think just like I said earlier, I think it's a conflation of two separate things. Like it's fine to be upset about losing your hair, but not for that reason because it just doesn't make any sense. You know, it's like you don't have to worry about it. And then another thing that really surprised me, and unless I missed it, he talks about things you can do. One is to start using like the chemicals that'll prevent you from losing your hair or some shit, supposedly for like 90% of guys. Um, then there is a hair system, which I guess is the same thing as a wig. And then he started talking about shit like, you know, traveling back in time, fountain of youth. Obviously, it was a joke and stuff. But I don't think he mentioned hair transplants, and I know he knows what they are because he was doing these Bosley ads at the beginning. So I don't know if like hair transplants just don't really work or what, because it seems like they've improved the technology a lot. And you know, like Elon Musk got really successful hair transplants and stuff, and his Norwooding was really bad. I mean, he was like an NW5, wasn't he? At least a 4. He was really bad, and he got, I mean, maybe not a full head of hair, but it looks good, right? Better, and I'm assuming they're only getting better. So I don't know if it's just something like he means it's not affordable, or he thinks it won't work for him, or I mean, I don't know, because like I never got like Casey, right? And granted, Casey doesn't seem to care that much, but Casey's Norwooding, and he owns it. He doesn't seem that bothered by it. But like you'd think that Casey's got all this money, right? Why not just get the hair restoration? And you know, I don't know if it's again, if maybe he just doesn't care. But if he does care, why not just get the hair restoration? Because you got the money and you can take the time like off work or whatever. But whatever. Um, so I don't know why New Poster didn't mention that. Then the other thing he said is, you know, I know people are going to say it's not about losing the hair, it's about how you feel about it. And he says like, no, it's bullshit. It's about how you lose the hair. It's like about how it's just about losing the hair. And I think that totally depends on what you mean. Like again, like is losing the hair going to make you less attractive to attractive young women? And like, yes, I mean, depending on the person, yes. So yes, like, but that's only a problem if that bothers you. So it kind of gets, so as long as if you don't care about that, then it is really just how you feel about it. Now, and then the other issue with losing hair is going to be how you feel when you look in the mirror. But believe it or not, and I know it's hard for some people to understand this because it took me, like, I didn't really understand this for a long time too. Something that I intellectually understood, but I didn't really believe. There are people out there who just don't care how they look. You know, they like it, like they could look in the mirror and see Quasimodo staring back and it wouldn't bother them at all. And the only thing I could give you as a reference point to this would be like, remember when you were a really little kid? Can you remember back that far when you just did not give a shit? Like when people would say, "Oh, you're so handsome" or something, you'd be like, "Uh huh." Like who cares? You know, like, and so so yes, I mean, I don't think that that's true. Um, then the other thing though is he's you know, he was talking about how brutal the like hair loss forums are, how these people are really struggling and stuff. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I never really cared about the hair loss. I've never actually been to a hair loss forum, but I do feel like even though I've never been through exactly what they're going through mentally, I mean, physically, obviously, I am. I can relate for some other stuff, and yes, it is brutal. It's hard, but you have to keep in mind, New Poster is actually kind of a younger guy. I think he's like 33. He might even be 32. So, and I'm assuming these guys on the hair loss forums are in that like late 20s, early 30s, maybe mid 20s. And you know, I know it's hard to believe, but you're not necessarily going to feel the same way, you know, 5, 10 years down the road. And you know, like when I went through all that stuff, like again, I don't know if I want to call it similar, but the related, so I guess you could say, to what they're dealing with now. You know, I did come out on the other side better for it. And you know, so it's unfortunate, but like honestly, I think when all said and done, they're all going to look back and see, like, you know, I'm better off. You know, I'm better off for having gone through that trauma. You know, there's some traumas where you're not going to be able to say that, like maybe over the course of eternity, but not in this lifetime at least. But this is one of those that is, you know, not that big a deal. I think like, because New Poster is saying that, like, well, I'm always gonna wear a wig. Like, if you know, if I start losing hair, if I get to like I think he said NW3 or something. Say if I even get to NW3, I'm gonna wear a wig. And he said, I'll go to my grave that way. And I don't think that's necessarily true, because he's assuming he's going to feel the same way about it 10 years from now that he does now. And that's just not, I mean, that could be the case, but that's just not really how life works a lot of the time. You know, it just, life, life changes you and you start looking at things differently. That's all for now, and I'll see you in the next.